Ripple and XRP. The takeover signs, they're everywhere here. Pharmacies across the United States suddenly starting to send payments over the XRP Ledger. We have the XAO DAO quietly stitching together the full package: XRP Ledger, EVM sidechain, NFT technology, and now Flare. It's huge. Wall Street, yeah, those ETFs, they're going to push the value of XRP, but it's not just that. That volume is going to funnel into payroll systems, according to one fintech. We'll cover it. Ripple execs are hinting that real estate, treasuries, global assets may soon exist natively on the XRP ledger and in a significant way. And here's the dark questions to ask, and they're growing louder. Why do leaders refuse to say XRP out loud? Is Ripple shifting its focus away from the XRP token? And why are investors still being fed promises of no downside in a market built on risk? Very scary here. We'll go over all of this and more. This was interesting. This was by a fintech platform on safety, focus on payroll and things like this. And they're saying what I've been saying, that, you know what, potential billions from ETF inflows. It's not just about investing gains. Those inflows can be used to fuel real adoption, again, beyond the price appreciation of the XRP token. And the one they're looking at here is payroll processing and what they can do with this technology to make payroll more efficient. And they're saying, look, no manual conversions required. They can send payroll out in XRP and it auto switches to dollars, right? Auto settlement in USD, euros, Ripple stablecoin, RLUSD, all of this can be used. Instant, low cost, cross-border even. You have global employees. It doesn't matter. And for the employee, the experience feels like receiving a normal paycheck. For the company, the backend provides faster, cheaper, and programmable rails. This is the future. This is what a fintech company is looking at, saying this could be a game changer. And one of the things that's going to fuel it is those ETFs and that additional inflows that are coming into the market. We need this spot ETF to be approved, and I think it's going to happen this year. And a lot of people, they're not just worried about the investment gains, but the utility this will add from the extra volume. I think that's a powerful statement here by OneSafe, the fintech banking platform here. This is interesting. I just got this from Cointelegraph. 6,500 U.S. pharmacies now running payments on XRP Ledger. Of course, this is the news from Logistics, which has launched a first large-scale blockchain payment system in the healthcare area, allowing independent pharmacies to settle wholesale drug purchases directly on the XRP Ledger. Let's be honest. This is small in scale, but as you start getting more inflows from ETFs, more adoption, they're going to be able to scale this up as well. And this just shows there's companies out there that are looking to leverage this technology to solve real problems, and this could be huge. And these are the key benefits here. It's HIPAA compliant, AML compliant, fast, cheap, of course, we know that, real world adoption. This is growing quick, and this type of thing where we see the implementation representing a significant milestone is we have a real healthcare company officially joining the blockchain revolution. It's not overnight, but one thing builds on the next. That's a real world use of this technology, and it's exciting to see. Now, the XAO DAO, I'm telling you, this is the canary in the coal mine, showing where this ecosystem is going to go, the full package. Now, of course, the XAO DAO uses XRP Ledger and XRP for its utility, but beyond that, you're stacking on the EVM sidechain and that functionality to run the DAO. You have NFT technology, not to sell goofy pictures, but to prove who is a member. That's a practical use case of that NFT technology. And what was really interesting, Jenna X did a live stream with Hugo of Flare and, of course, Santiago Velez, the co-founder of the XAO DAO. And they're talking about using Flare, its capabilities, F assets, stablecoins, things of this nature to manage the XAO DAO treasury effectively. And so I think this tells us a couple things. We're going to see more exciting projects like XAO DAO. And then you're going to see a lot of projects, companies, DAOs, they're going to be leveraging Flare to do exactly this kind of purpose. Hey, you have this big treasury. You want to make sure that you maximize, DAO member or shareholder value or whatever type of entity you have. How do you protect that value? How do you make sure you stay ahead of inflation? When you have an appreciating asset like XRP, how do you maximize it? Like, Flare's going to be popular, people. I'm telling you right now, the capability they're building here, this is going to be a game changer as we move into the digital era here and digital monies, and this is at just the right time. I think this is going to be an explosive bull run for Flare. As people start to realize this technology, they start to use it. And some people are worried about, well, what happens once those airdrops dry out? Well, I think it's going to be replaced by utility. Real systems like this where people are using Flare to earn a yield, and I think that's going to be many times bigger than the airdrops. I'm not worried at all. I can't wait as we start replacing airdrops with real systems and real adoption. That's going to be the game changer here. Last reminder here, Monday the 18th, your last day to buy a Ledger hardware wallet. Secure your crypto, the Ledger Stack, the flagship model that they have here. If you get one of those, you get $80 in Bitcoin back. The Ledger Nano X, that's the one I use. You get $50 in Bitcoin, and across their line of hardware wallets, you have to look at it, but there's different amounts of crypto you get for free. And of course, you don't have to keep Bitcoin. You can swap it into XRP, Flare, or whatever you like. Great opportunity here. Monday, I believe, is the deadline. When that deal goes away, you get a little voucher card here to redeem your crypto. You want a hardware wallet? Protect your crypto. Take advantage of that deal while it lasts here. Now, XRP Ledger, purpose-built for real-world assets, and this is true from day one. That was the purpose of this. This isn't a pivot. This isn't trying to catch the latest trend. This is what the XRP Ledger has been built for, and according to Ripple's senior vice president here, today is really just the scaffolding. The future involves native issuances where the token itself becomes the legal record. That is the ownership, the token on the blockchain. And the reasons why this is such a great blockchain for that, the built-in decentralized exchange, settlement efficiency, to make these assets much more liquid because they're easy to trade, they're cheap to trade, you're taking all those inefficiencies out. XLS 30, automated market makers for continuous liquidity, adds on to and complements the DEX, lending vaults, programmability compliance. It's got it all. For real-world, real estate like Dubai to tokenized T-bills, this shift has already begun. XRP is ready for not just payments, but really onboarding RWAs. And that's really what most of the financial institutions are most excited about. That's the future. That's the technology they want to adopt. You're not telling them you need this. It's going to change your business. They're begging for it. And the XRP Ledger is one of the most world-class systems out there to make that a reality. And that, write-up was from CoinDesk here. Really great discussion here in Crypto Eddie's latest video. And someone's saying, you know what, I'm listening to Monica Long, and it sounds like they're shifting big time away from using XRP for payments towards stablecoins. It will be interesting to see how they keep marketing XRP to try to keep the asset's value, right? Crypto Eddie, she followed up, and I love these discussions where people are talking about big issues in the comments of YouTube channels here. She says payments, they're all going to be essentially stablecoins. They're going to have a stable coin for every currency pair. And so I think what's interesting with this idea, whether we have, multiple stable coins on different ledgers, Ethereum, XRP Ledger, Solana, whatever it may be, or a bunch of stable coins on the same, what do you need there? You need interoperability. That's where XRP plays in. David Schwartz has told us, don't focus on the small thing, like these little payments that are shooting around. It's bigger than that. The more volume you get, the more real-world utility, the more use case and demand you will have for XRP. If the whole world goes to using stable coins, you're going to need to be able to swap between those values. You will need that interoperability layer. You will need XRP. That's far larger than just a few people using XRP for payments. Everyone using stable coins, everyone using different blockchains, they need that interoperability. That is a magnitude, so much bigger than just, again, a few people using XRP for payments. Don't get lost in the forest here, whatever you call it here. You want to see blockchain adoption, and XRP Ledger with more functionality will lead to a higher value and more demand for XRP. That's what it's about. Don't fear this. This is the future, and this is the original vision. If you listen to Chris Larson from the early days, that's what he was after. He was after being able to put any sort of value on the XRP Ledger that you could use dollars, gold, whatever you wanted, and XRP would play that bridge currency role. They drifted away from that a bit, but I believe this is the highest and best use case for the XRP Ledger and will lead to the most adoption. A comment in one of my last videos was interesting. He said, you know what? You say they don't mention XRP, but it happened, right? President Trump once said XRP in that announcement, it was the lead in the announcement, right? XRP, Solana, ADA. We're going to make up this, basket of currencies the US would hold. And then they had to walk it back. And they're like, well, we just kind of randomly named some coins by market cap, which is nonsense. XRP was the lead for a reason. And that's a great example. You see, the one time they do mention XRP, it is the lead that was mentioned. They have to go, oh, well, don't look at that. We're not talking about that yet. It just shows there's this suppression. They don't want you knowing. They don't want you talking about this. Not on mainstream news, not on the president's Twitter, none of that stuff. Don't talk about it. Don't look over there because it is the future. It is the future of payments, and it's a key part of the infrastructure as we go forward here. Lastly, I'm going to play this clip to end this video by Michael Saylor. And he says, you know what? I give you the upside. There is no downside. I'm going to pay you a dividend while you wait to get rich. This should be an alarm bell. I'm telling you, I think by the end of this, this is going to be the FTX of this cycle. Just because we're using high technology doesn't mean the rules of finance go away. There is no such thing as no risk, only upside. Boom, you get rich kind of stuff. This is scary. This is Mashinsky 2.0. I'm telling you, this is such a big deal here. And there's nothing inherently wrong about using blockchain or Bitcoin, for these types of purposes. For a real treasury purpose, that's great. Hold part of your treasury and crypto assets, global currencies. It reduces risk. That's not what he's doing. His idea is, well, if the price goes down, borrow and just buy more. If the price goes up, borrow even more and buy more. Like, this does not work. You will run into a buzzsaw eventually. And, what really bothers me is we do a bad job of policing ourselves. As the crypto community, we should point this out and say, that ain't, a sustainable model. Stop it. But we don't, because it pumps the crypto market. And when this thing blows up, it's going to be such a bad look for this whole industry. He's going to nail all the politicians, all the business people, all the endowment funds, all the people that shove money into this space. It's going to blow up and cause people to have catastrophic losses at some point in time. I'm telling you, I don't know when, but it's going to happen, and it's going to be such a bad look, and it's avoidable because anyone can look at this and say, that's nonsense. What you are saying isn't reality. But we don't do that because in the short term, it pumps the price and we welcome it. And it's a real shame. I'm going to play this video. You let me know what you think about it. If you think this sounds logical, if this should be like the premier vehicle for institutions and all sorts of important entities to invest in this space, because I sure don't. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.
I mean, that's the engineering. I give you the upside, you have no downside, and I pay you a dividend while you wait to get rich. Okay? Which is